to get to more people, is that for any president, you have to weigh how you can lead the world, how you can make very clear that actions are horrific, that they are not acceptable, they're not aligned with global norms, while also thinking about our own national security interests. And starting World War III is certainly not in our national security interests. Putting U.S. troops on the ground in Ukraine to fight a war with Russia is not in our national security interests. Go ahead. I just have to move on because otherwise I'm not going to get to enough people. Go ahead.
To what you'd said, though, about misinformation in Twitter.
Yeah.
Because last year the president worked with Twitter specifically to address misinformation on vaccines, called it a wartime effort. Has there been any conversations with Twitter to address misinformation as it pertains to chemical attacks and that kind of thing, given that Russia has banned this platform within the country and they're using it to obviously target eyes outside of the country, including within the U.S., to spread propaganda and
We are the
misinformation?
ones who told you all about that. I agree. I don't have anything to read out for you in terms of private conversations with Twitter or any other social platform, but I'm happy to check and see if there's more. Go ahead.
Back on the Rome talks, have you seen any, or did your colleagues see in this meeting, any sign that China got the message that they are going to heed your warnings?
Well, what we're going to be watching closely, of course, is actions. So beyond that, I think as my colleagues just read out for you in a call that we delayed the briefing slightly to make sure you could all participate in, it was an intense 7-hour session reflecting the gravity of the moment. And it was an opportunity to be very clear about what you've heard our National Security Advisor convey publicly, but more directly about what the consequences would be.
And your colleagues have said that your deep concerns were conveyed about what would happen if China were to align more closely with Russia. Just big picture, if China does not heed the U.S.'s warnings, if they do move forward with this, how concerned are you that this is inching closer to the world war that the president has been warning of?
Well, I think what we're looking at here, one is if China were to decide to be an economic provider or to take additional steps there to Russia, they only make up 15% or 15 to 20% of the world's economy. The G7 countries make up more than 50%. So there are a range of tools at our disposal in coordination with our European partners, should we need to use them. But again, we don't have anything to update you on in terms of an assessment. This is obviously an area we're watching closely. While this meeting has been planned for some time as a follow-up from the November call that the president had with President Xi, it was a timely and important moment to have this conversation, especially given the reports we've seen and the invasion, of course, of Ukraine. Go ahead. One more. Go ahead.
One quick follow-up, actually, to Jackie's questions about chemical weapons. The president, as you noted, said on Friday that Russia would pay a severe price. What would that price look like? Are we talking in the realm of more sanctions? Can you give us sort of any big picture about what that would entail?
That would be a conversation that we would have with our partners around the world, but there's no question if Russia were to decide to use chemical weapons, there would be a severe reaction from the global community. Go ahead.
So when you talk about kind of the possibilities for China if they don't go along with what you've asked, would you say, like you said with Russia, that everything is on the table, including ending trade negotiations, sanctions? Is that all on the table?
I'm just not going to be in a position